Hey, Dan Kaplan from SC Magazine here. I'm with Mandeep Khera, who is the Chief Marketing Officer of Cenzic, which provides web application vulnerability assessment services. Mandeep, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Dan.
Absolutely. Now, you had mentioned that a lot of customers now for you guys are within the SMB space. You're finding that these folks are realizing that web applications are something they need to protect?
Yes, I think there's a growing awareness within the application security space now. So SMB market is starting to realize that hackers are not only targeting the large companies, but also targeting this SMB market, the small and medium businesses, especially since the hackers know that these guys are more vulnerable because they have not done much on security from a maturity cycle point of view. And also there's a compliance issue that they're worried about.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. What is the main driver for this?
Yeah, so clearly hacking in general is a driver because they are getting more afraid that they need to protect their consumer information. But probably more important for these guys is the PCI, the payment card industry standard, which obviously is going to start being enforced now at Tier 3 and Tier 4 merchants, which is pretty much everyone. I mean, Tier 4 merchants is less than 20,000 transactions a year. So any mom and pop shop will qualify for that as well.
Right, and there's just a huge amount of small, medium-sized businesses in the country who must comply with this stuff.
Yeah, so there are roughly about some statistics are 25 million small businesses in the U.S. 20% of those, based on the numbers, rely on credit cards. So if you're taking credit cards, so that's what 5 million businesses. If they're taking credit cards in the U.S., eventually they'll be responsible to make sure that they protect customer information and get compliant with PCI. Now, whether PCI credit card companies start enforcing it very tightly this year or next year, we don't know, but it's going to happen. So I think the SMB, the businesses that are more conscious of the security, they're starting to take steps to improve their overall security posture.
Yeah, so let's talk about the criminals. How are they exploiting some of these vulnerabilities? What do they do?
So a lot of the criminals, so as you know, most of them are getting financially driven, right? So now they're not doing it just for claim to fame. So they're coming in and exploiting things like SQL injection and cross-site scripting type of vulnerabilities.
Those are the two most common web application vulnerabilities?
Yeah, those are the two most common that we continue to see. We're also seeing session management types of, session hijacking types of vulnerabilities, which most of the small and medium-sized businesses have not done a good job of protecting themselves against. So those three come up quite often. We also see sometimes cross-site request forgery types of vulnerabilities. And so hackers come in and exploit these, and obviously they're trying to steal credit card information, consumer information, and in some case, for example, small banks and credit unions even steal financial information.
And what can happen? Are the visitors to this website affected, or is the actual website owner affected by these vulnerabilities?
So mainly the website owners, but if in case of a cross-site scripting type of vulnerability where you store cross-site scripting in the database, a pop-up dialog box can pop up where the user can be forced to input information they're not supposed to give. So users actually, consumers could get hacked very easily through that process as well.
Mm-hmm. And finally, small, medium-sized businesses, they might think, is this really my responsibility? I'm outsourcing, the hosting of this website to someone else. Do I really need to be implementing these sort of technologies?
Yeah, and that's a big misconception, I think, across the board, not only as SMB, but everywhere else, which is a lot of times website owners think, hey, I'm hosting it at a third party, or I'm using PayPal, or I'm using some other processes from third party, so I'm not liable. That's absolutely not true at all, because you as a business owner own your customer information, and if something gets breached, you can't be pointing fingers. Ultimately, you're responsible for it.
Okay. Mandeep Khera, Chief Marketing Officer of Cenzic, thank you for joining us today, and certainly good advice for the SMB folks out there. 25 million strong, so they certainly need to be worried about this stuff.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dan.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.